What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show is intimacy. Do you have it? Do you have intimacy in your life? Do you actually know what it is? Or you are thinking intimacy is sex? What if it's not? Let us play with the idea of what true intimacy looks like and how can we get it or have it or be it. I'm a medical doctor. If you've never met me, if you're joining for the first time, I was born in Russia, came to America when I was a kid, and went through the whole training of 11 years of college, medical school, and residency to become family physician, only to quit 10 years later, sell my practice after major surgery, and became Access Consciousness Facilitator, Akashic Records teacher and founder of School of Akashic School of Creation, 3-day body facility podcast host. I'm doing a lot of things, have a lot of degrees, and yet I'm still searching. I am one of those people that love learning, love to see what is true, what is actually works. And now I invite people to a different possibility with their health, money, relationship, and this is one of those times the invitation is for a different reality. So what is intimacy? According to Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access, intimacy actually has 5 elements, and it's honor, trust, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude. As you can see, sex is not part of the equation. Sex is, or I would say not sex. Sex is more like receiving, but copulation is not part of intimacy. When I was growing in Russia, there was a saying, to sleep with somebody doesn't mean you have to know their name, which doesn't mean intimacy. As I said, copulation is just putting parts together versus intimacy has the 5 elements of honor, trust, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude. So let's talk about each one of them. And actually, before we go to definitions and all of those things, I would like to ask you, do you actually have those with yourself? Because it always starts with us. If we don't have intimacy with ourselves, can we have intimacy with others? The answer is nope, no, nada. That's basically what it is. If we don't have honor with ourselves, nobody will honor us. Literally, everybody will step on us and disrespect, because honor is about respect. Honor is about honoring someone. Do we honor our bodies? So let's start with that. Let's start with honor. And how can we honor ourselves? Because a lot of times, what does honor actually mean? Well, especially with ourselves. You might say, yeah, I honor me. Do you actually always do and be the energy that contributes to you? Or do you give and give and give to everybody else around you? Or you do and do and do and do everything for other people and you forget about you? Or ignore you? Or ignore your body? How often somebody asks you for something and you definitely were not in the mood to do that, and yet you kind of like went into the energy. But they need me. Oh, I need to help them. And then you resented them and you for doing that later on. Or you went to a party or to a gathering, even with family. You do that and then I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I say yes to that? That's not honoring. Honoring is respecting when you are or when you're tired, respecting when you are not in the mood, respecting when you need rest, respecting when you want to go to the movies, when you want to travel, when you do things or when you don't do things, when you sleep with somebody or when you don't sleep with somebody, when you have copulation or you don't have copulation, or when somebody argues with you and you just take it on. That's not honoring. Being a doormat is not honoring you. Sometimes actually throwing a fit might be honoring you. Sometimes telling somebody fuck you is honoring you. It's not about being nice and kind. It's about what works for you. Doesn't mean you have to disrespect others, because 5 elements of intimacy is about honoring you and other people. So if another person disrespects you, you can say, stop. That's not honoring me. I'm not going to have that. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean you disrespect the other one, even if they tell you that. It's about being honest with yourself. Because how often do we lie ourselves? How often we judge ourselves? And by the way, every judgment is a lie. Anything solid, and I'll backtrack a little bit to a few shows before, because I've done it on a few shows, and you can listen to archives. I have probably over 100 now of shows, maybe over 50 of TV episodes, and you can find it everywhere, pretty much on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. I think I said iTunes, YouTube, and TV is on Binge TV and other channels on cable. So with all of that, I'd like to kind of like explain, when it's true, it always feels light. When you're lying or somebody else is lying, it's always heavy and contracting. So you know what is true and lie to you. Close your eyes for a second, unless you're driving. And just for a second, imagine yourself being in nature. Or if you've ever been around a newborn baby or a very small child, I'm talking about like under age of 1, when they don't lie. Whichever is easier for you, either imagine looking in the eyes of a newborn or being on nature without people, just telling you, without people, without them bringing the energy of lies. Just you and nature, maybe in the woods, maybe on the beach, and just breathe. Do you feel the expansion? Do you feel the lightness? Lightness of being. That's what truth actually feels like in your body, in your being. Now erase that and just think of the moment when somebody lied to you, yelled at you, judged you. Yuck. Boo! Brr! Phew! Yuck. And would you let it go now? So before you let it go, just feel it. Feel that heaviness, that yuck, and that energy of lies. Ooh, yeah. So would you let it go now? And I'm going to use the weirdest phrase. If you've never heard the clearing statement of access consciousness, go to theclearingstatement.com and you'll find out more. For now, just know that it is a vibrational frequency that clears any limitation, any lies that you have or you bought, maybe not even yours. So will you destroy and uncreate all of it times a godzillion? Godzillion is just such a big number that only God knows. I assume you said yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, bad and bug, all 9. Shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. Whew. And see, what's left is what's true for you. Because we cannot destroy what's true. We can destroy only lies. So just be with the energy of what's true. So when somebody lies to you, that's not honoring if you buy it. If somebody judges you and you buy it, it's not honoring you. They're not honoring you. But let me tell you, if you don't honor you, nobody is going to honor you. It's as simple as it gets. If you don't have intimacy with you, nobody will give you that. Nobody will give you honor. Nobody will give you trust. It's about choosing for you. So we talk about honor. Let's talk about trust. That's the second element of intimacy. And again, if you don't have trust for you, you cannot expect trust from others. And by the way, trust is different from blind faith, because a lot of times we kind of like misidentify it. Why am I saying that? You say, no, I trust my husband. And how many times did he lie to you? Or if it's a wife, doesn't matter. Partner, mother, child. If you have a blind faith, you pretty much never, ever will know when somebody lies to you. Because you're in judgment. In judgment that they will always love you and they'll tell you the truth no matter what, because you love them. Or another one, do unto others what they do, and they will do it unto you. Yeah, right? No, that doesn't work. No matter how nice you can be to some people, they'll still be nasty to you. Nice and nasty sometimes go hand in hand, because if you're not being nice to you, people will be nasty to you. And time flies so fast, I didn't even realize we have a break. It's a commercial break, so don't go away. We will be back. When we return, we'll talk more about the elements of trust, the 5 elements. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, You can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network, Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is intimacy. Do you have it? And before we went on a break, we were talking about trust. We talked about honor. And you can listen to the archives if you missed that portion. I'm not going to repeat myself, but trust. Because a lot of people misidentify trust as blind faith. That will believe people, will believe in people, will believe in a greater good, will believe in, there's so many things we believe in. Does it make you feel light? And in the first part, we talked about light and heavy, meaning light is truth, heavy is a lie. So when I talk about belief, does it make you feel light? Maybe it does, but it doesn't make me feel light. A lot of times it's a lie. Majority of the time it's lie. Think of any religion. There is truth with a lie attached in every single religion of the world. Whew. Yeah, please don't believe me, because I can lie too. Always, always, always check with yourself. And that's what trust is. Knowing what's true for you, that's part of the starting to trust yourself. Don't believe anybody else. And trust is actually one of the definition, which is, I said, Gary Douglas said that, is trusting that the person will do exactly what that person did before. No more, no less. As simple as it gets. If the person lied before multiple times, that person will be lying again. If the person has an anger problem, guess what? They will have an anger problem, no matter who's in front of them. You might say, oh, they've been angry at their ex-wife. That's why they were yelling at them. That person will never, ever yell at me because I'll be nice to him and he will love me and I'll love him unconditionally. Yeah, right now. Nope, never. If that person has anger problems and yells, he'll yell at you at some point. No matter how much you believe that he'll be nice to you because you love him or her, doesn't matter. Or them. I guess I have to be politically correct nowadays. And I apologize. I usually offend everybody. So if I offended you, I'm not sorry. Because a lot of times when we offend somebody, that means we triggered some point of view somewhere in the subconscious. It means that we cannot offend or hurt anyone unless there is a judgment that that person has. Because we've been and done everything. Let's face it. We've killed, we've maimed, we're tortured, we loved, we've been wonderful, we've been kings, we've been slaves, been done. All of it. And at some point, we judged everything. So when somebody triggers something, be grateful. Because that means that that point of view is coming to the surface. And you have an option of letting it go by asking, number one, who does it belong to? Number two, what is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it? And there is a lot more questions. If you're curious about the tools of access consciousness, you're always, always welcome to take a class, but not necessarily even a paid class. Even something as simple as intro class online, that there is a lot of free webinars, free Zooms, there's a lot of YouTube videos where you can learn more about access consciousness. But if you've never had your bars run, oh my God, I strongly recommend that, because that's something that clears your mind so fast. At least for me, it changed my life. Because I wasn't planning to facilitate classes with access consciousness 10 years ago. Totally. Or actually over 10 years now. Or under, whatever. It's just changed my life so much. Even after one class, I just chose it. Because it's just amazing how simple the tools are. As I said, if I triggered somebody, wonderful. I'm so grateful for each one of you. Even if I don't offend you, that's still wonderful. Because maybe there is something else that I can offend you in the future. Just saying. Love you all. It's about actually being present with the trust. It's about being welcomed in the area where it's about being who we are. It's about choosing to trust you, meaning do exactly what you know works for you. Not that somebody is creating it or not creating it. So what can we choose that works for us? Maybe an energy that's light. Maybe the energy of what's true for us, and we follow it. Doesn't matter what other people desire of us or ask of us. What if we just follow that? How much difference would that be? How much different would create in our lives if we honor and trust ourselves, if we have allowance? Oh, and by the way, allowance, that's another part of intimacy. Right now, I'm just going through the definition, but a little bit over the tools too. Because allowance has nothing to do with acceptance. Because we so much misidentified, misapplied those terms, like trust and faith, honor, and just being a doormat. Allowance is not a doormat either. Acceptance is a doormat. Is when, and a lot of modalities, and I'm not saying that it's bad, because acceptance might be good for somebody, not for me. I remember when I was engaged a few years ago, and my fiance was telling me that his idea of a perfect woman was dumb, deaf, and orphaned from a village far away. I told him, that's totally opposite what you got. You got somebody with a big mouth and somebody who's got relatives and totally not from a village or simpleton. It's about actually being an allowance means that we don't judge, no matter what it is. We are being an interesting point of view with everything and everyone. We act instead of react. It's about being aware. It's being aware and present in our lives. Think of anything that triggered you recently. Let's say a war in Ukraine. Because that triggers a lot of people because there is a lot of misinformation, like totally lies on both sides. And I'm not going to go into each detail because I was there. I know what the war looks like. And I actually was there when the war started. So think about that. Think about your judgments, how wrong it is, or how right the war is, because whatever, doesn't matter what because is or what the point of view is. Let's just go with the emotions you have, the anger, the frustration, or whatever it is. I'm not going even to name all of them because there is so much there, so many triggers. Just pick up that energy, all that heaviness, and let's do. Interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. They have this interesting point of view. Because you probably have people around you who have opposite point of view. And point of view is just a point of view. What if we be in allowance of their point of view, their judgment, or whatever? Because from their point of view, that's true. Interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view that they have this interesting point of view. Let's do it again. Interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. They have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have a point of view about their point of view. How is it? Is it a little lighter in your universe? A little bit more space? For me, it is. What if we be space instead of point of view? Like, think about that. What is point of view? I have this pen. There is a point. And if you're watching me, you can see I'm pointing a pen at you. There is a small point. That's your point of view. It's tiny. And nothing, it's like a pinhole. And nothing that doesn't match that judgment or that point of view can come in. But what if you change your point of view? What if it's now this way? What if you're looking this way? And I'm moving pen from the point into horizontally and vertical, if you're just listening on the podcast station. And this way, and flipping it upside down, and putting a cap on, and it doesn't matter. What if you be the space instead of point of view? How much more can you see and be when you're being space of interesting point of view? Because you're looking from all the perspectives now instead of just one. You can see their point of view. Interesting, you're looking from behind or from the front. Oh, interesting, you're looking from the side. You're looking from the top or you're looking from the bottom. Okay, that's just an interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. They have this point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about their point of view. And it's time for our second break of the show. You've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome everyone, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network, and today our show topic is intimacy. Do you have it? And this is kind of like our third part. In the first two we were talking about honor, trust, allowance, and now let's talk about vulnerability. And what's interesting, my cat just came in, looked at me, and decided that nope, not talking about intimacy, being vulnerable. It's her choice. So what is being vulnerable? What is vulnerability? Because a lot of people think that if they be vulnerable, they'll get hurt because it means they don't have any defense. And that's true. Vulnerability means no defense, no barriers, no walls, and no protection from anything. And in reality, in this reality, the judgment is if you don't have barriers up, if you don't have healthy boundaries, if you don't have blah, 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 all of those things, somebody will step on, somebody will hurt you, somebody will do this to you. Actually, not so much. When we have barriers and barricades, because I used to do that, because I've done a lot of modalities. I've tried to help myself through multiple different things. I'm a Reiki Master. I've done Theta Healing introductory classes. I've done awakening. I've done tapping. I've done a lot. Can't even think of like pranic healing. Like, as I said, done a lot. And in a lot of them, we were talking about putting up protection, like mirrors, like crystals, like a lot of things, imaginary, of course. But those are not quite imaginary. Those energetic barriers, actually, what they do, it's like an armor on the knight in the Middle Ages. Think of it. Or Kevlar for the policeman. How heavy it is. How much energy does it take to carry it around? And how maneuverable are you in those things? Yes, Kevlar or whatever it is, like the bulletproof vests, they become lighter and lighter, but still, it doesn't give you the maneuverability and lightness to avoid the fight. Especially like if you have whatever like protection you have, it's pretty much a sign on your forehead. Hurt me, because I'm protected. Try to hurt me. Versus if you don't have that, you might be invisible. You might be just, if you're space, nobody can hurt you. Think of air. How much can hurt air? Nothing. Unless you compress air, unless you change, let's say water as a vapor versus as liquid, as ice. Can you hurt vapor? It just disperses and then reappears somewhere else. Water. Can you hurt water? It's fluid. Okay, you can contain water. This is a little bit more containable because water is more contracted. Ice. You can chip ice. You can mold ice. You can cut ice. You actually can hurt anything that's solid. How much of our lives we contract behind the walls of protection, and I put the air quotes. How much are you not being vulnerable as space that would allow things to go through you instead of catching every single insult, every single judgment, every single hurt? It's just be space. And you can, by the way, download the meditation on expansion on the very front page of my website, www.creatingabundancewithiz.com. And it's kind of like it's sign up for a newsletter, but you can always unsubscribe. And if you're already on the list, it will not do anything. You'll just download the meditation. And let's do it together right now. Let's drop your barriers and be vulnerable for the next maybe a minute or a couple of minutes. Can you do that? I know it's hard because we've been programmed to have those barriers and barricades, but just for the next few minutes while we're doing this exercise. And believe me, you're safe. See? And as soon as I'm doing the space, Bella came in and she's here enjoying the energy of space. I guess I had barriers and barricades before even being the space as much as I could. So let's drop our barriers, allow the energy of the universe to go through your head, through your body, and exit through your feet into Earth. And pull the energy of our planet, our wonderful green planet that we live on, through your feet, through your body, and out of your head. And allow those two energies to mix in your heart and allow them to expand. Just, again, if you cannot expand, it's probably there is a wall somewhere, because if you don't have walls, it expands easily. So just drop your barriers and drop your armor and allow the energy to expand. Maybe a few kilometers, a few miles, depending on where you are, because I know people are everywhere listening. It's global now. English, Russian, doesn't matter. Just allow yourself to go as far as infinity. And on the way there, just allow yourself to connect with our planet and allow yourself to be vulnerable with everyone and everything on the planet without taking it on. And that's a trick, because you can be vulnerable You can be aware, because vulnerability is about awareness. But always, always, always ask, is it relevant to me? See how easy it is just by asking, is it relevant? It immediately becomes lighter, because 99.99.99% things, feelings, emotions, thoughts are not yours, and they're not even relevant to you. Would you be willing to be open and vulnerable with everything without taking things that's not relevant to you? And that's what vulnerability is all about. Being open, being aware. Because if you're vulnerable, it's actually more protection in that than actually putting up the walls. I don't know about you, but I'm constantly bumping my foot or things around. And especially when I hurt my toe, I used to. Now I'm more open with that. What happens? You put a protection. You kind of like protect that toe so nobody steps on it. What happens? Everybody steps up. Every single person around you will step on the toe, or you bump it again. As simple as it gets. Because that protection actually makes the hurt, the toe, being more visible when you don't want it to be visible. That's a reaction. That's when you resist and react. When you don't have those barriers, your space, you're actually aware when somebody's foot is close to your toe, and you move away. It's about awareness. It's not about protection. And the last but not least is a gratitude. And we'll talk about that after the break. You've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today, our show topic is intimacy. Do you have it? And the show is kind of coming to the end, but it's not the end. Number one, it's every Wednesday, same time, same place, different languages, sometimes in English, sometimes in Russian. Just join. It's at 11 o'clock Central Standard. It's actually Daylight Saving Time, Central Daylight Saving Time, and I guess they will not change that now. 12 o'clock Eastern, 1900 Kiev, Moscow, and the rest you can just look up on the calendar. I think there is a link to the times in your area. I think Jerusalem is still 1900, and Taiwan is, I believe it's 11 p.m. or 2300. Anyway, before we went on a break, we were talking about gratitude. Again, that's an element of intimacy. Do you have it with yourself? Because it's not about intimacy with another, it's intimacy with ourselves. If we have intimacy with ourselves, then we can have it with others. But it always starts with us. So are you grateful for? Are you grateful about you? My guess is probably not as much as you could be, or not as much as, if you choose it, would change realities. So let's play with that. What if you actually started with gratitude your day? I love one of the exercises we do in the body class. It's being grateful for our body. How much are you judging your body? How much are you actually not grateful for it? How much are you treating it like a meat suit or something that to get rid of? And by the way, if you get rid of the body, guess what? You die. And how many of you are actually killing your body because you want to get rid of the body, because you don't like your body? And yet, my guess is you probably don't want to die. So, and how many of you avoiding death while killing your body? Yeah, that's what I thought. What if you stopped that? What if you actually changed your attitude towards your body, and instead of judging it, you would start appreciating it. Start saying thank you for carrying you all those years. It doesn't matter how many years, 5, 20, 50, 80, 100. Because it doesn't matter how old you are. Look at your body, not through the eyes of the judgments you've had, but through the eyes of gratitude. Let's face it, if you had a friend and you told that friend all the judgments you had that you're telling your body, cognitive or non-cognitive, like, oh, you're old, or you're fat, or you're wrinkly, or this, or you're too young, oh, blah, 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 all those judgments. Just for a second, imagine a friend next to you. And for that many years, all you've been telling those judgments. Would you actually have that friend for all those years? Or would that friend said, fuck you, and run away? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, let's not even talk about the friend. Let's talk about a dog. You know, dog or a cat, the loyal friend, the unconditional love of the animal. And you did all those judgments. I didn't even talk about the abuse you did to your body, like feeding all the things that your body probably doesn't like. I'm talking about the times when your stomach hurt, when you were throwing up, when you were nauseous, or when you get sick. All those things are bodies telling you, I don't like it. Don't do that to me. As simple as it gets. But we don't listen. We continue abusing our body. And yet, the body didn't run away from us. Unless it did, and we died. But then you wouldn't be here on my show. Or would you? I'm perceiving a lot of maybe people without the bodies who are still listening to the show. Well, you can get another body now if you want, and change your attitude toward the body. So instead of judging, let's do one thing. Let's just rub our hands, create maybe a little energy between the hands, and just touch our body. Maybe touch our face and say, body, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for putting up with me. See how much lighter it is? And what if you did that exercise every morning? What if you started that and have gratitude for you and your body? And we have just a few minutes left in the show. I just want to remind you, next week, the show will be in Russian. It will be similar topic. Близость, если она у вас, which means intimacy, if you have one. But I'm pretty sure I never do two shows, even in two different languages, the same. So there might be something else. Or don't come. That's fine too. There might be some other people who will listen. Or if not, to be honest with you, I'll give you a little secret of mine. I don't do those shows for you. Nope. That's the intimacy with me, for myself. I love doing those shows, even if nobody listens to it. It's about creating that trust, that vulnerability, that honor, the gratitude and allowance, because each show is different. Each show creates something different in my life, in my body. It opens up something that I didn't know before. Not that I research it, it just comes. It's about changing energy in the world, because that's what I love doing. And that to me is fun. Because what is ultimate, I wouldn't say goal, but target of intimacy or our lives or our body? It's about to have fun. So how much fun can we have? No matter what we do or be, what if it's about actually joy, ease, and glory? We have only a couple of minutes left. I want to remind you, you can find me pretty much on most of the social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I have my own channel, which is Creating Abundance with Ease. My fantasy doesn't go too far. It's all about creating abundance with ease, creating ease in our lives. And you can always contact me by email, sending it from the website, from the Inspired Choices Network website, text message, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, WhatsApp. I mean, there is so many ways of contacting me. I love you all, and I'm so grateful for each and every one listening now and listening in the future, even if it's 50 years from now. I hope it's still relevant to you, maybe to the world. My hope for the world is the world will change so much that we all be one, as oneness, and yet each individual, because it's about being an ocean, and each one being a drop in the ocean, and yet ocean itself. So that's my invitation, to have the intimacy with yourself first, the honor, the trust, the vulnerability, the gratitude, and the honor. I love you all with all my heart. And I hope to see you somewhere, somehow. There are classes around the world. There are classes online. And you can always find me either on website or just ask for the class to be created near you. Because I travel. I love traveling. See you soon, friends. Bye-bye. And as I said, just ask.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.